Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, happily ever after. Let's see if anything interesting comes out of my face.
Do you want some coffee?
Oh, yes. My heart is freezing cold, so that will be warm it up.
Oh, wow.
Long time never see you, son. You look handsome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Give me a kiss, son. Thank you.
Mom, you see that kiss? He wasn't even that real. He was just like,
Don't be jealous.
Okay, so she wants a kiss, and he moves in to kiss. And my first thought was the reason why he had a really quick kiss was because he was afraid he was going to be humiliated by everyone thinking that he has some sort of disgusting relationship with his mom, if you remember that from, I think, the previous season. And then Tammy chimes in and says, look at that, he doesn't even kiss you. And so Tammy's already trying to draw a wedge between Asuelu and Mom. And then the mom says, don't be jealous. That's interesting, because that wouldn't be my assumption, but it does make sense, and we can maybe take the mom's word for it, that the mom understands that Tammy is jealous of Asuelu, or jealous of Asuelu's relationship with the mom, or has always been jealous of Asuelu in the role in the family. I don't know.
she's getting old.
Not the only child of Mom.
I have my own little family, just like Asuelu does. I work and take care of my family here, but at the same time, I need to take care of Mom and my parents back home. He needs to help back home.
Okay, so I've heard a lot from some of y'all in the comments below or emails explaining what the culture is like in Samoa according to some of your perceptions and experiences, having lived there, grown up there. And there's this cultural difference between Samoa and a lot of other places around the world, different from Seattle culture that I'm used to, in that there's an expectation that the children will give money to the parents, particularly if they come to the United States, where there's a perception that money grows on trees, and it might actually kind of be that way, because in some countries it's so difficult to generate a lot of money that you can get in the United States. Anyway, point is that there's a lot that we can say about this, and I feel like I have a better grasp on that culture. I'd experienced that sort of cultural element before I reacted to this and heard from y'all, but I feel like I have a richer understanding of it. So when Tammy says, hey, are you giving money to Mom, that might, so in Seattle, if my sister said that to me, in this, especially the tone that she said, that would be extremely impolite. And my parents would say, what are you, everyone would yell at my sister if my sister said that to me. And if anything, Japanese Americans in Seattle are the opposite. Parents constantly are trying to give us money all the time. Like, there's this practice where, they'll try to give you money and they're like, I don't need any money. It's okay. You're retired now. Hold on to your money. You're okay. And then you hug goodbye, and then you get home and there's a $100 bill that's been slipped into your jacket pocket. So if anything, it's the opposite. In fact, if parents were demanding in my Japanese American Seattle culture, it would be an extreme shame for the parents to do that. So, there's just different cultures. There's different ideas about what's right and what's wrong. And there's pros and cons. I will say that there's pros and cons even to that Japanese thing. The generosity thing can also be a burden of just like, I have to constantly give all the time or gesture all the time, or like one of the things about, my family's a lot better now, but when I was a kid, I remember everyone fighting over who was going to pay for dinner if we all went out to dinner, and there was this huge argument, and people just, someone would, halfway through the meal, they'd go find the host and they'd say, here's my credit card, or I'm going to pay for it. And then someone would say, you can't do that. And I just remember just as a kid, just hours, or not hours, but, I don't know, half an hour of vying. And I just thought, as a kid, I was like, well, someone just pay so we can go, So it's not all fun and games in any culture. But so I think Tammy is exhibiting a norm, which is fine, of your mother is struggling and you should be contributing. If you have extra money, you should be contributing. You should be trying to earn extra money to contribute to the good of the family. But the issue is, and I've heard from y'all around this, is how exactly do you communicate that, and where's the line? Do you have flexibility around that? Do you understand the circumstances that Asuelu is under? And what people will say is that the cultural element is the norm, but the way that Tammy and maybe the mom has gone about it up until this point has been over the top. Let's see what they do.
Now, I step up and taking care of the kids and helping her a lot. Now, our relationship, it's like smooth, but they're really nervous and like worried.
Why are they worried?
Because of you. Because Tammy...
Me? What did I do?
What? What did I do? Tried to physically assault Kalani, threatened to physically assault Kalani's sister. All those things? What did I do? Now, I don't know if I show this clip, but Asuelu just got done saying that their relationship between Kalani and Asuelu is going really well. It's going very smooth, which is great. It's great to hear. I think this show doesn't show us those moments, so it's good to see. Good to see.
Mom, the child, you afraid everyone, you're gonna beat them.
It's a long time.
I know, but they still remember it. I told them we should forget and forgive,
Yeah,
but they
just look focus for the Christmas.
So I get the mom wants to put it in the past, but it wasn't that long ago. I'm guessing it's just a few months, 6 months at the most. And Asuelu's like, yeah, I thought maybe they'd forgive and forget. Well, usually to forgive, you have to get an apology. And Tammy, to my knowledge, has not apologized. And I think Kalani and the family are rational in wondering what is Tammy going to do next, because she doesn't seem to have any boundary to how much hostility or violence she wants to at least threaten or gesture.
I tell you, I want Tammy to be on the good behavior.
Please, I don't want to hear.
Mom, listen what I say.
Bad story from you.
For
Wait, I'm your mom. Be nice and respect to me. Come on.
Interesting to see the two of them and the three of them having a tense conversation. And we haven't seen this before, really. But I'm reminded of past seasons and the mom's interesting presentation. There's a way that she presents herself that is peculiar to me on a certain level. And certainly Tammy seems peculiar. I mean, I guess Asuelu seems a little peculiar too in some ways. But anyway, so what did we just see? The Asuelu's like, hey, you need to be nice. And then the mom's like, well, let's rewind that. I forget what she said.
Please, I don't want to hear.
Mom, listen what I say.
Bad story from you.
For
Wait, I'm your mom. Be nice and respect to me. Come on.
I see. So she was saying, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about what Tammy did in the past. Let's put it behind. So why would the mom be that way? I suspect because the mom doesn't believe, for whatever reason, that there is a way for Tammy to apologize. If I were in the mom's shoes, I would say, yeah, Tammy, you probably should apologize for that. I understand that you have a problem with them. That's okay. You can conflict, but you threatened physical violence to them multiple times. And that's not okay. That is potentially criminal. And so you definitely need to apologize for that, or you definitely need to apologize to Asuelu or something. But the mom doesn't want to do that. Why? Are physical altercations the norm for her and her family? Does she think that Tammy won't relent? Does she want Tammy to exhibit those behaviors? Because there seems to be some evidence of that. The mom seemed to treat Tammy as if she was her guardian or something, someone who would fight for her wishes. And I was speculating that the mom might actually feel hurt that Asuelu is far away and isn't giving money, and that's evidence that maybe she was a bad mom or something. There seems to be some kind of shame going on for the mom that I'm having a hard time determining. And so she pushes back. She said, and then Asuelu says, "No, shush." And then they both kind of did that to each other, shush, and then wait, and no. And so maybe that's when things got escalated in their family. That's the way that they fought, was this sort of, this abrupt statements and trying to overpower the other person.
Still upset with his sister? because sometimes Tammy wants to fight too much for him and his wife. But I try Tammy to be a nice sister to her brother.
The things that go in Portland, I just don't want that to happen again.
Total side note, last season, if you remember me saying, they kept saying they were going to Washington, which no one would say. No one would say, we're going to Washington State. You just wouldn't say that. You'd say, we're going to Vancouver, Washington, we're going to Seattle, Washington, Spokane, Washington, or just Seattle or Spokane. But on the show, they kept saying Washington, which was very confusing to me because they were showing them in Portland, Oregon. And I was like, why are they talking about going to Washington? They're in Portland. Now, Portland is very close to Washington State. Across the state line is Vancouver, Washington. The only speculation I had was that the producers are saying, you can't say Vancouver because people don't know that there's a Vancouver, Washington. Everyone knows there's Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. So you just have to say Washington, because I think that they live in Vancouver, but Vancouver doesn't have a lot in it. Portland has a lot more in it. Vancouver's a nice town. Has things in it. But usually if people are coming into town to go to Vancouver, well, I can't say that. Anyway, I'm guessing that as the family came in, they did tour stuff in Portland. Anyway. And it was just always bother. Why would they say we're going to Washington? And ironically, they're from a town called Washington, Utah, which made it even more confusing. But anyway, he just admitted when we were in Portland, he just said that. It's like, why wouldn't you just let them say Portland or Vancouver? I don't understand that in the past.
I'm really late. I am really late. Are they going to be on their good behavior too?
Yeah.
Are you going to be on your good behavior?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to have them come after me while I'm sitting there. I'm like, do whatever they want. No, that's not Tammy. It's Tammy. You touch me, then watch me what I'm going to do.
I don't think anyone's going to touch you, Tammy. I think people are going to defend themselves, and you're going to come out swinging verbally or physically. So I don't know why I always have hope for people. The beginning of this conversation, I'm like, well, maybe Tammy will come around. No, of course not. Why would she? People tend to exhibit behaviors that they've exhibited in the past. And if Tammy has exhibited extreme behaviors in the past, then she is, of course, going to continue to exhibit those. And I really have a hard time hypothesizing about what's going on with Tammy. There's something wrong there. I don't know what it is because we don't have any information because they don't go into depth on these side characters on the show. But something strange is going on there because she is shooting herself in the foot. What's her goal? Because on the surface, she would say, my goal is to get my brother Asuelu to respect my mom. And by threatening his wife and his sister-in-law with physical violence, that's going to get my brother to respect my mom? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So something is getting in the way. Some defense is getting in the way there that I can't really speculate about.
So please be
Mommy,
nice everywhere.
I'm always being nice, and I want us to feel all the spirits of holidays. So I'm going to drive you guys to our house because my wife's family make a beautiful meal for us. So I want us to be.
Wait, all this is in prep to bring Tammy to the house again for Christmas? I do not recommend. Does Tammy I don't think Tammy wants that. She clearly hates them. No one in the family wants that. Why would you do that? Especially given that Tammy just said, no one messes with Tammy. You can't mess with Tammy. Anyway. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. If you didn't know already, we have merch, and I am on Cameo. Those are the two things I want to tell you about. Merch, link below, T-shirts, mugs, things. And I'm on Cameo where you can have me say happy birthday or something. So I just got a notification someone wanted me to say, I think, happy birthday to their mom or someone. It's always great. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.